Aloha and welcome to a League of Extraordinary Couples. And today in our powerful 20-minute interview, I am absolutely thrilled beyond measure to invite someone that has been such a shining light in my life, both personally and professionally. And Hedy has been someone who has crystallized the very intentions that I hope to bring forth as I tread along this beautiful planet. And I've known her since I was a teenager, and I went to seek her for professional help during my turbulent teenage years. My mother introduced us as my mother was working with her at that time. And then my husband and I had the great good fortune of doing a couples retreat with her when I was pregnant with my firstborn. And I've been following her and delighted to be a part of her legacy as she shares her incredible wisdom around the art of relationships and the wisdom of conflict dissolution, and her beautiful marriage of over 50 years with her beloved husband, Yumi. And we'll provide a detailed bio of her professional life, but today we're going to laser focus in on her extraordinary relationship with Yumi. But first, I'd like to get the camera on Hedy. Please welcome our audience today, my dear.
Hello, audience. I am so glad to be here with you, Amy, and with all of you, of course.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to launch right in to really looking at a few core ideas. But before we do that, I want to paint a little poetic image, if you're willing to ride along with me, Hedy. If you were to describe your relationship as a landscape, how would you describe it?
It's a lush forest with a great big lake, with fish that jump up and down in the water, with birds and all kinds of animals, and delightful people walking naked everywhere.
Oh, I love it. What a wonderful image to launch us. The birds and the fish and the naked people. Oh, I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. And so in that place, that beautiful landscape of your relationship, what matters most to you?
You know, over the years, I have come to see that what matters most is the decision to love. It's a decision that we make. So for example, right now, Yumi's not feeling very well. He's quite tired. And so I've decided that I'm going to double up on honoring, cherishing, loving, kissing, embracing, giving, double up on it. Because, you know, I can't do the doctor's work. We're looking into what might be making this man so tired. But what I can do is wife him. And people say to me, oh, it must be so hard. You're a caretaker. I said, no, I'm not a caretaker. I'm never a caretaker. I'm a wife. And a wife gets to do wifing. And wifing is giving, and sometimes giving double and triple and quadruple, because that's what is needed at the time. And that's a decision. And we make that decision again and again and again. And I just want to add to that over my 53 years of marriage now to Yumi, he is my number 27 husband. I have had 27 husbands in Yumi because the man has had the courage to change and transform, and I've each time chosen him again. So here he is, number 27. And each time I choose him, I choose the man he is right now. So right now, he's very tired. He's not feeling well, but I'm choosing that man. I'm not going to burden him with any expectations that he feels differently than he does. This is my new husband, and I'm choosing him. You know? And so that to me is core.
Beautiful, beautiful. just so love the image of wife as a verb. I'm going to wife him, because I was thinking about that earlier. We parent our children,
right?
You know, so we wife our husband, and you choose him. He's your 27th iteration of your beloved.
Exactly right.
And just that freedom to let him be who he is. And my dear, I don't know how you're going to double up on your love and cherishment and adoration, because I see that just pouring out of you. But if anybody can do it, you can do it.
I'm learning, you know, how much more love, cherishment, adoration can I muster? And it's so beautiful to see that, as tired as he is, when I come and I give him these kisses on his back, he goes, thank you. You know, there is such a container in the other for what you are willing to pour into it. When it's love.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That container that you're willing to pour into as love, that that in that I would surmise that you're nourishing yourself as well. It's
absolutely exactly right. That in the giving there is nourishment. You know, it really, that's the basis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The giving is receiving.
Yeah. The giving is receiving. I love it. I love it. And in this container, in this pouring of love, are there still times in 53 plus years of marriage that the conflict or the negativity comes up? And if so, how do you dissolve it?
I'm so glad you asked, because no, it doesn't happen anymore. But you know, what Yumi and I did not know is that if we welcome every single conflict as an opportunity, and we then cross the bridge to each other's world to really understand the deep truth that is getting into that conflict. Because, you know, conflict is a friend. Knock, knock, knock. I just want you to mature here. Conflict really is two immaturities meeting. And so when you welcome it and you say, this is our opportunity to mature, each time that occurs, there is a deeper connection. We call it the encounter of the souls. And so each time we have encountered each other in that way after a conflict, and we matured another notch, we entered slowly into what we call the zone of the encounter. So encounter after encounter, we suddenly quantum leaped into the zone of the encounter. And the zone of the encounter is something we did not know about. It's a zone where there is no conflict. You are at all times in deep connection. We had no idea that such a zone actually exists. And what I want to say about the encounter is that we all know the encounter. For example, with nature, you step into nature and suddenly it's an encounter. It's not you and nature anymore, but it's all one. Or music. You listen to music and suddenly it's not you and the music, but it's all one, and you feel the music in the deepest way you've ever felt it. You know, even a sports team can play in the zone of the encounter. And when they play there, they win. And their coach doesn't understand what's happening here, because they're in the zone of the encounter, connected in ways they never expected. So their game is in a magical realm. And so as a couple, we learned that you can ultimately arrive, if you are willing to welcome every conflict and bridge to each other's world and understand the other. What's cooking for you here? And when you really deeply understand, you then have that encounter of the souls. And we found out, encounter after encounter after encounter, there is a sudden entry into a magical zone we didn't know about. And we live there now.
Wow.
Very nice. It's very nice, I must say.
Are there naked people walking around?
There's people, there's birds, there's lush forest, there's lake, you know, fishes are jumping up and down. It's a paradise, what can I say? But it's very interesting because it took us years. You know, we really had to have a new understanding that a relationship is not a problem to be solved, but it's an adventure to be lived.
Mm-hmm.
And that we need to equip ourselves for that adventure, that the better equipped we are, the more skills we have, the more rituals we know, rituals of connection, the more then we can live this adventure fully. Mm-hmm. And the reward was for us the zone of the encounter, mm-hmm. which was something we knew nothing about and never had a model of. Because, you know, I had parents married 54 years when my dad died. They loved each other deeply, but they never dissolved sort of that power struggle that all couples know about, right. The survival dance. Right. Yumi's parents were married a very long time, 72 years. And it was a very conflictual, difficult marriage of two unbelievable people. Conflictual marriage. So neither Yumi and I have had a model of the zone of the encounter. That to us was a complete surprise and the reward of a lifetime.
Yeah. Wow. So it's possible. I'm hearing several pearls to pull out from this. One is just the length of the marriage does not necessarily determine the quality of the connection.
Yes, for sure.
And there's this possibility, this paradise that awaits with being willing to meet each other. And what I learned from you decades ago about this bridge of connection, and you've really fleshed that out throughout your personal and professional lifetime, it sounds like, of crossing the bridge and going into those dark, scary neighborhoods with the other and saying, honey, what is this? And in that, I can only imagine the loneliness evaporating. And I think of that conflict is growth trying to happen. And the criticism is the protest of the loss of connection. And that when you actually go into those dark places, the shadow sides, the scary places with the beloved, that it shifts. Is that how you did it? Is that how you got there without being mentored, without knowing it?
Right. It's exactly how we did it. And you know, it's not only the neighborhoods that are dark that we need to visit, but we also need to visit what I call precious neighborhood, where am I passionate and vital, and where I feel like I'm in my essence. Where is my partner in their essence, excited, enthusiastic about life? Let's visit those neighborhoods that are lit up and beautiful and filled with the resource and strength of who the other is. Yeah. So there are many neighborhoods in our world. It's a metaphor that I love. Many neighborhoods in our world, and the precious ones are also very important to visit.
Yes. Thank you so much for bringing that up, Hedy. I tend to get locked in on what can we tend to? And I think that's just part of the perspective that you helped me to widen that lens of perspective, that there's this beautiful inner landscape that we can share with our beloved as well. And so that is a perfect bridge, pun intended, to our next question around how do you deepen that connection? Now, you mentioned some rituals of connection. If you're willing and able to share any of those, we'd love to hear it.
Absolutely, it will be my pleasure. So the first thing is establishing the bridge. And the way you establish the bridge is you sit on two chairs across from each other where your eyes are at 18 inches. And the 18 inches is important because to really see the landscape of the face of the other, the eye is structured to look at 18 inches. That's where a baby looks at mom and dad. Little children will pull your face at 18 inches. Pay attention to me, because they know that there, the rest is fluid and you are clear. Yeah. And so those 18 inches, you sit, you take each other's hands. And for some people, that's actually the uncomfortable proximity. However, the brain is structured that at that distance, if you breathe and you look, and for a moment you express gratitude, like, oh, I'm so glad we're alive right now. And I'm so glad you're sitting across from me. And I'm so glad you're my partner with all the good and the bad and the difficult and the sad and the joyful that we have. Thank you. If you put gratitude in the middle there and you look at each other, your eyes soften and the limbic part of the brain starts resonating together. It's called limbic resonance. The moment there is limbic resonance, there is what's called limbic regulations. The two central nervous systems calm down. And so in that calm, atmosphere, you can invite each other over the bridge for a visit. There's a neighborhood I want to show you. You see, but it has to start first, and that's part of the ritual, with holding hands, looking close, being grateful, putting that into the space so that that limbic resonance and limbic regulation can occur. And in the newest research on the brain called relational neurobiology, they have now named that limbic resonance the brain bridge. So we had that metaphor of the bridge a long time before we knew that the research was going to call it the brain bridge. That's what we crossed. You see, we crossed that brain bridge, but we can only cross it once that resonance has occurred.
Yes.
Then we can invite each other to neighborhoods. You know, the precious neighborhoods, the tougher neighborhoods. We even discover neighborhoods because we don't know all the neighborhoods of our own world. We're a big mystery. And so the more we can visit each other, the more we can know each other's deep, beautiful, multi-layered, lush world, the more we enter the zone of the encounter.
Beautiful, beautiful. How wonderful. It's called the bridge, you know, that bridge of connection.
Can you believe it?
Yeah. Right? It's such a perfect metaphor because it involves being willing to tread across, to leave your own sovereignty, if you will, and go over. And my curiosity comes up. I heard you share that Yumi's been feeling particularly tired and you're doubling up on your love infusions there. How do you not absorb some of that tiredness, that energetic exchange, like when we are all interconnected and we cross the bridges, but how do you tend to you and keep your energy as you do?
Wow, that's a profound question you're asking me. Well, first of all, I really think that I was very lucky that I inherited in my DNA a joyfulness, a welcoming of life, a delight in every day. You know, my parents went through the Holocaust. I was born in a refugee camp. You would think that my parents might have taken in, some of the real negativity that they were surrounded with, but they did not. And I think part of their philosophy was the saying of a rabbi that says, if there's nothing to rejoice with today, borrow a dance from future celebrations. And they, throughout their war experience, and they went through awful stuff, they borrowed a dance from future celebration. Wow. That was one piece. And the other one was that they, at all times, both my mother and my father, stayed connected to other people. They made eye contact when it was already hard to even look. They made eye contact. They gave a smile. You know, they knew that a very big gift you can give another person is look in their eyes and smile at them and say, you know, you're alive and I'm alive. Is that amazing or what? And I think that I inherited, you know, because I have like a well of joy that is inside of me. At night, you know, when I go to sleep, I have to put all of my enthusiasm in a suitcase because if I don't put it under my bed, I can't fall asleep. So I put it in a suitcase, I put it under my bed, and in the morning when I wake up, I actually pull out the suitcase from under the bed and put all that enthusiasm back on. I go to the mirror, I look at myself and I say, I am back!
Oh, I believe it. I love it. And your joyful enthusiasm is a positive contagion that just spreads around the world. For those of you who are just meeting Hedy for the first time, this woman is powerfully internationally known, and she has helped so many people. And that bridge of connection that I just remember one of the workshops with you when I was pregnant with my firstborn, and that love infusion and those blessings just being, you know, all over me and on that cellular level, that I feel that honor of being part of that legacy to absorb that joy. And you're right, that sense of of being able to borrow the dance from the future,
Right.
and just
Right.
hold on to that core joy that you have and bring that into your world on a daily basis, pulling it out from the suitcase in the morning. Love it.
Exactly right. And I think that 22 years ago, I had a diagnosis of breast cancer, and it was very terrifying, and we really felt totally terrified. But then Yumi said, how long should we feel terrified? 2 hours, 3 hours, let's say 4. But after 4 hours, it's not a problem to be solved. It's an adventure to be lived. And so he called the adventure rallying around the boob.
Yeah.
And everybody that rallied, he called them the Boo Brigade. He had a big Boo Brigade. And we borrowed the dance from the future. We made it such a joyful adventure that when we left the Department of Radiation Oncology, they wouldn't let us go because we brought a funny story every time we came there, and people just waited for us to arrive, and they didn't let us go. You don't leave us. You bring so much joy into our department. So it's that, I guess, a gift I received that's got this capacity really to borrow the dance of the future if there's nothing to rejoice about today, and to then make it into an adventure.
Right, right. And that gift that you have received that you share and bestow on others so freely, that is what I want to say, the big mahalo nui loa, the great big thanks, as we say here. And Hedy, I think I've probably had chicken skin or the chills of goosebumps at least 3 or 4 times just in the last 20 minutes. It's just delightful to partake your wisdom and to collaborate on this inspirational series for others. May it be as rewarding for them as it is for us. And
thank you, Amy. It's been such a joy to connect with you here today.
Yes, thank you. And I know that you have a free gift that we will provide the link in the email with the daily videos that come out. And that free gift is embracing our passion.
Embracing our passion.
Yeah. So feel free to tune in to learn more about Hedy there. She has her own videos coming up on YouTube, and getting the word out there to just keep the legacy. That's the wonderful word I was searching for, going. And I wish you all the best on your journeys and shining a light. And thank you so much for being with us today. And with that, I did not start with a bow, but I feel in my heart I did bow, and I would love to bow to the wisdom that we co-create and the magic of life that is. Aloha.